Close your eyes. Clear your mind. Just listen. Welcome back to the Z-Axis. I'm your host, Zachary Johnson. Please do hit the subscribe button on YouTube. My email is djjohnsonllc@gmail.com. Today, we're digging into something that sounds subtle, but is actually profound. The difference between storytelling with data and data storytelling. Last episode, we took a look at the JP Morgan Frank acquisition and the implications of trust, or lack of trust, in internal decision making. I also teased the distinction between internal and external storytelling. Well, here we are. Let's break that down. First, a quick recap. Data storytelling, as I define it, is a fundamentally internal process. You start with data, seek out insights, find the right narrative structure, and then tell a story to help your team make a quality decision. You're not trying to sell something. You're not trying to manipulate. You're not even necessarily trying to persuade. You're aligning around a shared goal. It's collaborative. It's honest. It's in service to them. Now contrast that with storytelling with data. That's an external approach, and it starts somewhere else entirely. You begin with the outcome you want. Buy this, sign up for that, click here, smash that subscribe button. Then you craft a story to lead someone towards that decision. And then, only then, do you pull in the data to support your case. Here's the difference in action. Drink Sluggo Cola, the slimiest cola in the galaxy. Every bottle contains 43% live algae to keep your teeth that perfect shade of green. This is marketing storytelling, outcome first. It doesn't matter if green teeth are good or not. It's bold, it's weird, and it's trying to get your attention. Kudos to you big nerds out there who know about Sluggo Cola. Now, let's imagine the data-backed version of this. Sluggo Cola's AI recommender engine suggests Slurm based on your past purchases, local shop prices, and the shade of your teeth in recent selfies. That's the data doing the storytelling. It's personalized, evidence-based, maybe even helpful. But notice the shift. Now the message is about you making a quality decision. But unfortunately, in this case, the AI recommender system is recommending a competitor. So it's the case where one is buy my soda and the other is buy the best soda for you, which might not be mine. In marketing, you don't actually want the customer to make the best decision for them. You want them to choose your product. So while data can be part of the pitch, it's supporting the story, not leading it. You can absolutely use elements of data storytelling in external communications. But if your goal is persuasion over precision, that's simply not the same thing. And that's okay as long as you're honest about it. Now, can you use data storytelling in marketing and sales? Technically, yes. But it's usually less effective. Why? Because external conversations are inherently biased. You're not seen as a neutral party. Your audience assumes you have an agenda, and they're right. That means the trust equations internally, where trust is often high, same teams, shared outcomes, etc., is different than externally, where it's lower by default, and rightly so. In data storytelling, the process is data, insight/story, narrative, telling. In storytelling with data, it's the reverse. It's desired outcome, narrative structure, data insight. And again, it's not wrong. It's just designed to lead to the best decision. It's not designed to lead to the best decision. It's designed to lead to your decision. That's a critical distinction. So let's get back to JP Morgan and Frank, just to think about it for a second. This time through the lens of external trust. There were multiple points where JP Morgan had the chance to assess Frank, each one escalating in importance and risk. And in every step, the level of scrutiny of trust should have increased. So let's apply the external trust model here. Again, there's A, trust fully. B, trust but verify. C, verify deeply, then cautiously trust. D, trust nothing. At the first stage, a team at JP Morgan was likely scanning for acquisition targets. The stakes were low. So maybe they operated at level A or B. Public articles, marketing claims, surface level data, it's what was available, and they used it. Eventually, someone inside JP Morgan made a compelling internal story about why Frank was worth pursuing. So next came the second team, after it was adopted from an internal. They got access to private data directly from Frank. Now the stakes are higher, $175 million higher. This is where the scrutiny should have escalated from B towards C. Here's the twist. Even though this team felt internal to JP Morgan, their data was still coming from an external source, Frank. And here's where trust can get dangerously blurry. If the internal team trusted Frank's data too much and communicated their findings too persuasively, others within JP Morgan may have stopped questioning the source. The external masqueraded as internal, and the due diligence, it faltered. And at that final, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar fight at the top of the pagoda moment, where the big check gets signed, you should have hoped every question had been asked and answered. Things like, did you do interviews with former employees? Did you do conversations with the schools and students and even competitors that Frank interacts with? Had you done external audits? Maybe had private investigators? Did all this happen? We don't know. Now, we do know that once it came out that this was a problem and JP Morgan was upset and there was litigation, it hasn't taken investigative journalists long to find out that there were issues and there were problems. Did JP Morgan find those same issues, or did they not? If they did, or maybe it wasn't weighted heavily enough, either way, you can show that it can be done to find the issues. But the result was JP Morgan trusted an external source like it was an internal and kind of paid the price. So what does this mean for you? You're probably not greenlighting a $175 million deal this week. But the next time you present data to your team, you got to ask yourself, are they viewing you as an internal voice or an external one? Because that changes everything. If you're seen as internal and the assumptions around trust, scrutiny, and actions are different, you get more benefit of the doubt. But if you're siloed, new to the org, perceived as having an agenda, you might be treated as an external source. And that means more questions, more resistance, and a slower path to action. So data storytelling isn't just about crafting and compelling narratives. It's about understanding your role in the trust ecosystem. It's about working with the trust of your audience and with your company to get to the best solutions with the least amount of friction required. All right, that's a wrap on episode 4 of the Z-Axis. Next time someone says, just tell a story with the data, pause and ask yourself, are they aiming for the best decision or just their decision? I'm Zachary Johnson. Please do hit the subscribe button on YouTube. My email is zjjohnsonllc@gmail.com. Thanks for listening and keep telling stories that matter. May your choices be wise, your logic strong, and your meetings short.